Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I will be discussing why we want to use makeup primers. So ignore this crazy looking face right now, and I'm going to start off showing how I start the base of my makeup. So I'm going to start off using a serum. I have a couple different options here. I got some that are more expensive, some middle of the road, and then some cheaper versions. So the cheaper, more affordable version that still works great is this e.l.f. Hydrating Serum. Okay, this is probably one of the best drugstore version serums that you can find. The middle of the road one that I have is NXN. And the reason I really like this one is because it's great for oil control. So it helps keep your face matte throughout the day. So if you pair it with a matte foundation, it's great. And then the last one, this one is a retinol serum. And this one, I don't know how to pronounce, well, Biosance, I don't know the correct pronunciation on that, but this is like a sample size and it's kind of expensive. So I wouldn't go that route, but that's just me. And then after you do your serum, which, okay, so I'm going to use the e.l.f. one today just because. So you go ahead and you want to moisturize with that serum. I'm just being kind of fast with it because I don't want this video to be 500 minutes long or you're not going to want to watch it. So there's that. And ignore all this black under my eyes. I had just taken my work makeup off in order to do this video. So that's why it's looking kind of rough here. But so after the serum, the next thing you do is moisturize. And I know you're probably thinking, serum and then moisturize? I don't really understand that. I thought the serum was moisturizing. So you want to do both because the serum is more of a deeper level and then the moisturizer is more of like a layer in between your serum and your skin and then your makeup. Because when you wear makeup, especially a lot of it for a long time, it soaks that moisture right out of your skin. So the moisturizer kind of is a barrier between the serum and the makeup, if you will. So for the moisturizer, I like to use the It Cosmetics Confidence in a Gel Lotion. I'm actually out of my full size, and so I have dug through my little samples because I get so many of them, and I actually had one. So this is open already because I've been using it, obviously. That's one that I really like to use, and I also like to use the Cicapair by Dr. Jart. This is great for kind of adjusting your tone if you have any redness because it's kind of like greenish. So it kind of gives you like, I don't know, it's almost like kind of coverage. It kind of gives you coverage. So I just kind of go like this. I like to keep it more in my T-zone more than anywhere just because it kind of gives you a little extra coverage while it's moisturizing. And so once the foundation goes over it, it really gives it kind of a better look. So I just rub that in. And obviously, usually I take a little bit longer and I do it in circular motions and blah, 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 blah. And I make it nicer. This does have kind of a weird smell to it, kind of strong, but I really like what it does. So now we're finally on to the primers. So I'm going to show you a handful of different primers. I'm going to start off with the cheaper ones once again. So from e.l.f. I actually have 3 different primers. I have the hydrating face primer because I like anything that says hydrating. I also have another one that says prep and hydrate. This is like a balm. It goes on literally like a glue stick, like you go like this. And then the next one I have from e.l.f. is the poreless one, which is by far my favorite. And then I also have their poreless putty, which is a primer and it's really nice. It's literally like putty. It goes on like putty. You can see I've dunked. I don't think that's a word, dunked. Dunk? No, I don't know. Anyways, the next 2 are drugstore ones. This one is Almay Smart Shade. I've used it quite a bit. If I don't have any redness going on, I don't really use this because it has the purple and green swirl in it, which I don't really care for in a primer unless I'm using it more for color correcting. So sometimes I'll use that and another primer, which I don't know if that's really recommended, but I do it. Anyways, the other one you can get at a drugstore is actually a matte primer, and it's the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Primer. This one is actually pretty good quality. I actually recommend that. So then now we're going to go into the more high-end primers, which I use these more for like special occasions. I don't use them every day just because obviously I don't want to use them up because some of them are sample size. So first I'm going to start out with the Laura Geller Spackle Treatment. This is awesome. I love this, and it actually comes out kind of shiny, like it's almost looks like rose gold, but literally it fills in all your little fine lines in all your pores. It's great. The next two are the by Benefit. They're the Professional. So these fill in your pores. These are great. This one is the Pearl Primer, so it gives you more of a shine underneath your makeup. And this one is the Original. The Original is my favorite just because I usually use more of matte foundations and I go for the matte look more. But both of them work great. And then my all-time favorite out of all of these primers is this Sephora Mattifying Primer. And I like this because it's literally like a gel, and it comes out kind of like I don't know, like weird. It's like this like kind of a yucky color, but it literally, you can feel it filling your pores. Like you can literally feel it filling them in. And you don't need a ton of this. A little goes a long ways. And like I said, once again, I focus it on my T-zone because that's where my pores are going to be the biggest. So I'm gonna make sure I'm getting it in those areas. And then sometimes like I'll go around and I'll fill in other areas of my face, but mainly I just want to get those because that's what's gonna make you have more of a smooth look on your face. So anyways, that's that. When it comes to foundation, obviously that's the next step. You would want to pick a foundation that matches the type of primer you use. So if you use a matte primer, you want a matte foundation. If you used more of a dewy primer, you want a dewy foundation. And the other thing you want to think about is you want to look on your ingredients on the back of your foundations. This one's by Catrice, and you're going to want to see if this is an oil-based foundation or a water-based foundation. And this is important because you want to also match that to the primer. So if you're using an oil-based foundation, you want an oil-based primer. If you're using a water-based foundation, you want a water-based primer. And so you're going to do that. My Fenty one is one of my favorites, but on the back it doesn't say anything about ingredients, so I had to go and look that up online to see what kind it is. What I'm going to go ahead and pair with my matte Sephora foundation is the matte Sephora, I used the matte Sephora primer. Now I'm going to use the matte Sephora foundation. And I'm doing that just because they're both the same. They come from the same place, so I know that they match. Sorry, excuse me while I look for my foundation brush. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, my good foundation brush is dirty, and so is my beauty blender because I usually use a sponge to do this. So we are going to use this brush from Luxie. This is the Luxie 532 Round Top Blender, and I'm going to put a little on there. Now, you don't need a lot because this Sephora foundation is like crazy. It's like super coverage. You really don't need a lot. So I just kind of buff it in around first, and then I'll go and kind of move it around after that. So, how has everybody been? How are you dealing with the corona and keeping yourself busy during the quarantine? I'm trying to stay busy. I'm honestly, I don't know. It's hard because like as much as I like the downtime and being able to like do more stuff like this that I didn't get to do before, it's hard because I have a 2-year-old and she doesn't understand what's going on. She doesn't understand why we're not doing anything, why we're not going anywhere. You know, there's nothing that I can say that's going to make her understand what's happening. So that, I'm not going to lie, has probably been the hardest part of all of this. Is just kind of keeping her entertained, and you know, you can only say so much to a 2-year-old that's gonna make sense to her. Oh yeah, you guys like my eyebrow? So I never used to shave my face, and I just recently started shaving my face because it makes your makeup application a lot smoother, and it makes your skincare products go in a lot better. And so I started doing it, and I did it in the shower the other day because my little electric razor, the batteries went out in that. So I started doing it in the shower, and I wasn't looking at what I was doing, obviously, and all of a sudden I looked at my little razor blade and it was full of hair. And I was like, oh my god, that can't be good. So I got out of the shower and I see that I have this big line through my brow, and I'm like, oh my god, what am I gonna do? And as you see, this foundation is buildable, which means that you can put on a little and then you can add to it, and when you add to it, it doesn't like take off what's underneath. Whereas a lot of foundations, when you put them on, if you don't put enough on in one foul swoop and then you want to go add more to it later, when you add more, it actually like strips off what you already have there. So you can't do that, but with this one, you can. And I don't really like the way this is applying. Like I said, I always use a beauty blender, but mine is dirty, so I'm using this brush, which I don't normally use because it makes it splotchy and it leaves streaks, and I'm not a fan of it. So anyways, I'm not gonna do like the full-on routine with my eyes and everything because that's just gonna take too much time, and I just don't have that much time right now. But this is the Too Faced, sorry my light, bronzer, and oh my gosh, this literally smells like chocolate. It is like heaven. And I like to get that pop of color on. And I like to do the bronzer first. A lot of people will do the bronzer after their contour, but I like the bronzer first because it kind of gives it like a gradient. So like this area is tan, so when you put your contour here, it's not like white pow, and so it kind of gives it a gradient. And for bronzer, for my contour, sometimes I actually just use bronzer, but I use a darker shade of bronzer instead of getting out my whole contour palette, because sometimes it's just, I don't want to use a bazillion different products. So for this, I'm just darkening just this one little area to pop my cheekbone out a little bit. And this, I'm doing this with the Tarte Hoola, no, Benefits is Hoola, just kidding. It's the Tarte bronzer, and it, oh my gosh, this also smells like chocolate, but like a different kind of chocolate. I don't know. And then I just kind of buff it out a little bit so it's not too strong. And then after that would be blush. I like the Tarte blush. That's what I usually use on a day-to-day basis, but for some reason I've really been into this Milani blush lately, and it's the baked, and this color is 05 Luminoso, and it's just really pretty. I just really like it. It's kind of like a peachy tone. And I know it looks like I put a lot on, but it's only because I'm going to go over with setting powder and kind of get that all gone. So anyways, this is the final look. Well, it's not the final look, but it's the final look that I'm doing right now, because I'm going to do my eyebrows and my eyes off camera because those take me the longest, because those are what I put the most time and effort into. So anyways, thanks for chatting with me, guys. I look forward to do more videos, and I hope to hear from y'all soon. Bye. If you have, oh, before I say bye like a weirdo, if you look forward to my videos, please subscribe and hit the notification icon so you're notified anytime I upload any future videos. And next video is going to be the unboxing of my Birchbox. So stay tuned if you'd like to see that. Thanks so much. Bye, guys.